Today on MUFC Pulse, we'll dive into some incredibly intriguing news. Job snubbed, United chase Gallagher, and bad news for Nottingham ahead of hosting Man United. For more on this story, check out the video. We also have some equally exciting football news coming up, so stay tuned until the end to catch it all. Welcome to MUFC Pulse. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell for more updates. Jobe Bellingham snubs Manchester United move, Red Devils turn to Conor Gallagher. Jobe has knocked back the notion of a shock switch to United. The Englishman has no fancy for a stint at the Theatre of Dreams. It's reckoned he'd give Ruben Amorim's lot the cold shoulder owing to their absence from the Champions League. Should the former Sunderland lad fancy a departure from the German side, he'd reportedly rather join a club that can serve up proper European football. It's understood Jobe's rebuff may spur the Red Devils to step up their chase of Atletico Madrid midfielder Conor Gallagher. Amorim is keen to bolster his engine room come January, with Manuel Ugarte and Kobbie Mainoo both struggling to nail down a regular berth in his first 11 for varying reasons. Gallagher, for his part, is open to leaving Atletico, mindful of the need for consistent minutes ahead of next summer's World Cup. The 25-year-old midfielder, famed for his tireless running and robust style, was already on United's radar last summer. The Mancunians made a last-gasp lunge for the ex-Chelsea man, but Atletico weren't having any of it on a loan basis at the time. With fresh whispers that Amorim has personally given the nod for a January bid, United are now mulling a loan with an option to buy in order to land Gallagher without splashing the cash. Bad news for Nottingham Forest ahead of hosting Manchester United. Manchester United will travel to the City Ground to face Nottingham Forest in the Premier League's 2025-2026 season, matchweek 10. Forest are currently scrapping at the bottom of the table in 18th place with just 5 points from 1 win, 2 draws, and 6 defeats, a dismal run that has left supporters yearning for the glory days. The club is now under the stewardship of Dyche, who has been in charge for a May week after replacing the sacked Postecoglou. They secured their first victory since the season's opening weekend on Thursday night, beating Porto in the Europa League, a result that not only kept their continental hopes alive but also silenced some of the growing unrest in the stands. That triumph over the Portuguese side provides the perfect boost for Forest ahead of this fixture. Turning around their league form and climbing out of the relegation zone is Dyche's top priority. Here's the injury situation at Nottingham ahead of the match. Alexander Zinchenko, on loan from Arsenal, had to be substituted shortly before halftime against Porto. After showing signs of distress, he received treatment on the pitch before being replaced by Nicolo Savona in the 37th minute. Zinchenko looked gutted as he left the field. He's been grappling with a groin injury of late, one that has plagued him since the early weeks and forced him to miss several training sessions, raising questions about the wisdom of his loan move. Dyche described Zinchenko's condition as 50-50 and said it needs further monitoring post-match. Chris Wood picked up a knee problem while on international duty with New Zealand during the recent break. He was managed carefully by his national team. He came on as a substitute for just the final 15 minutes against Chelsea last weekend, Ange Postecoglou's last game in charge, but was absent from the midweek squad against Porto after missing training. Dyche said Wood's injury is on the mend, but there's no certainty on his return as he still needs time to fully recover and hasn't resumed training on the pitch, leaving the striker's physical robustness, a hallmark of his game, under serious scrutiny for the weeks ahead. Delane Bakwa was not involved in training leading up to the Porto game. He missed the squad for the Chelsea match and again wasn't in the midweek lineup. Dyche indicated that Bakwa's recovery will take longer, with no firm news on when he might return, a blow for a player who was expected to inject pace and flair into an otherwise blunt attacking lineup this term. Ola Aina is expected to be sidelined for at least 3 months after suffering a hamstring injury while playing for Nigeria in September. He limped off after just 10 minutes in their draw with South Africa. Aina underwent scans at the club's training ground and now faces a lengthy rehabilitation period. He wasn't even included in Forest's 25-man Premier League squad for the first half of the season. Recently, Aina posted on Instagram that his surgery went smoothly and recovery is progressing well, offering a glimmer of optimism amid what has been a frustrating spell on the treatment table for the versatile fullback. With several key players unavailable, Dyche is forced to rely on a threadbare squad, particularly in attack and defense, where the absence of proven quality could expose the tricky trees to United's potent counterattacking threats. Nicolo Savona, who came on for Zinchenko against Porto, is likely to get a bigger role, while academy youngsters may be called up to fill the gaps. This piles enormous pressure on Dyche for his debut against Manchester United, where Forest desperately need points to escape the drop zone. The win over Porto has given them a morale lift, but without a full-strength side, their chances of holding off the Red Devils look increasingly slim. From Manchester United's perspective, this is welcome news with Forest's top scorer this season, Chris Wood, sidelined. United haven't managed a win in their last 2 meetings with Nottingham, and this is their chance to secure a 4th straight victory and beat Forest on their own patch, potentially silencing the raucous City Ground crowd that has made life miserable for visiting sides in recent years. Galatasaray eyed January swoop for Manchester United's struggling midfield. Manchester United's midfield continues to harbour a palpable undercurrent of unease. Last summer, the club splashed the cash in a bid to forge a harmonious blend of youthful vigour and tactical discipline, yet the endeavour remains woefully unfinished. Under the astute guidance of Ruben Amorim, the emphasis on intricate positional play and unyielding tactical structures has left several players distinctly uncomfortable in their roles. Chief among them is Manuel Ugarte, the Uruguayan powerhouse whose summer arrival was heralded as the cornerstone of a robust defensive shield. Now, in a twist that could reshape the January transfer window, Galatasaray have reportedly set their sights firmly on Ugarte. The Turkish champions, ever ambitious in their pursuit of European glory, have penciled the 24-year-old into their mid-season blueprint. Craving an injection of raw, unrelenting energy into their engine room, the Istanbul Giants see this as a match made in footballing heaven, one that promises mutual prosperity for all parties involved. For United, it represents a pragmatic opportunity to streamline the squad. The Red Devils hierarchy, ever mindful of fiscal prudence, view this potential parting as a gateway to reigniting negotiations for Crystal Palace's promising youngster Adam Wharton. With wages to trim and funds to bolster ahead of further squad recalibrations, offloading Ugarte aligns seamlessly with their strategic vision. Meanwhile, Galatasaray operate in a realm of instinctive flair and fluid dynamism, a far cry from the geometric precision demanded by Amorim. Such an environment could unshackle Ugarte from the manacles of rigid positioning. Amorim's meticulously crafted system, predicated on possession dominance and razor-sharp passing, simply does not play to Ugarte's strengths. The Uruguayan excels as a destroyer. Intercepts, tackles, and second-ball skirmishes are his domain, yet he finds himself marooned in a role that demands metronomic control rather than chaotic disruption. The narrow front three employed by United often leaves vast expanses behind, exposing Ugarte to the mercy of swift transitions where he must cover ground alone. As United's shape inevitably frays under pressure, it is Ugarte who bears the brunt, his frustrations mounting with each misplaced pass or overlooked duel. Amorim, resolute in his tactical dogma, shows no inclination to deviate, piling the weight of systemic shortcomings squarely onto individual shoulders. In this cauldron of rigid adherence, results stutter, and scapegoats emerge. A winter exodus to the boisterous cauldron of Turkish football could prove the tonic Ugarte desperately needs. Galatasaray's brand of football, infused with the passion of the Super League, thrives on instinct over blueprint. Buruk's charges surge forward with unbridled ferocity, their box-to-box marauders given license to roam and ravage. Here, Ugarte could rediscover the predatory rhythm that defined his stints at Sporting Lisbon and beyond. United, too, stand to gain handsomely from this transaction. With Casemiro's enduring presence curtailing Ugarte's minutes and his market value having dipped amid the form slump, the time is ripe for a decisive sale. The club holds firm at a valuation of around €40 million, a figure that reflects his pedigree while acknowledging current realities. This windfall would liberate payroll space and inject vitality into the coffers. Should Galatasaray balk at an outright purchase, a loan arrangement with a mandatory €40 million buyout clause at season's end would serve admirably. This structure mitigates risk for the Turkish outfit while guaranteeing United recoup their investment, come what may. In one fell swoop, Old Trafford clears the decks for progressive reinvention, unburdened by dead weight and empowered by fiscal agility. Ultimately, this saga underscores the capricious nature of modern football transfers. What arrives as a masterstroke can swiftly sour without the right alchemy. For Ugarte, Galatasaray beckons as a rebirth for Manchester United, a shrewd pivot towards coherence. As January looms, all eyes will turn to whether this transcontinental tango materializes. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comment your opinion.